So, welcome along to live Q&A number 45. This evening, a good few questions have come in around song structures and around practicing and things like that. So, there's plenty to get dug into tonight. And if you have any questions as we go along, you know, you can just post in the comments. Alrighty, so we got a few on already, so I'm just going to get it going. So, the first question that came in, I'm going to dig into it here. Actually, I'm going to skip to a question because it's one of the quickest ones to answer. A question came in and it was around, is there ever a time not to have your fingers close to the frets? Because as you know, I talk about it a lot, and 99.9% of the time, keep your fingers close to the frets. 99.9% of the time. One exception that can pop up is when the person isn't fretting the chords themselves, which happens. The Libertines, a well-known band, they've a song that goes, what a waster. And they have another song called The Man Who Would Be King. And the playing on the Libertines albums, with no offense to any of them, is pretty sloppy due to a myriad of reasons. But if you want to sound like them, you got to play that way. So it was in learning that stuff that I began to go, Jesus, okay, so I don't keep my fingers close to the frets. If I want to play a solo going, that sort of tone instead of. So, Troy, that is probably the only time I'd say don't keep your fingers close to the frets. Every other time, yes. Keep them right up close. Okay, alrighty. Who else we got in here? Hey Trace, how are you doing? Welcome in. God, we got a good lot of the TSG crew in the house. All right, so this class. Now, so that is the fingers close to the frets. Next question came in from Dan, and Dan was asking about a line of tab, and he's wondering how to play it. In particular, is it open chords or am I just fretting something? So I'm going to open this up a sec, and I'm going to share my screen. You know yourselves any questions you have. So it's this piece of tab. It's Under the Bridge by the Chili Peppers. I can't zoom in, unfortunately, but how I'd play this. So the first thing is reading the tab. How would I play the intro tab? I would look through the notes one at a time. So I'm looking here at 3, 2, 0, and I'm just seeing, like when I play them, is there any chord shape that's contained within? And now if you look long enough into it, you see it's a C chord. So that's what it gives. So Dan, that's how I'd play that. I'd go, and then we have the 2, 0, 3, 2. Right, so that'll be the C chord in bar 1, an E chord in bar 2. And the macro tip there is when you zoom out, any of you watching, like when you zoom out, just check, is there any chord shape that can be ever applied into what you're doing? Okay, so now the next thing is the second line. Dan asked about you see here there's a 2 and a 3, and I'm sorry it's a bit small. This is a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5. Now, the first thing I'll say is, when you see numbers written above each other in tab, you play them at the same time. So fret the second and the third fret at the same time. That little dash there and the little sort of hill thing, that generally can mean a hammer-on or a slide. In this case, it's a slide. And the reason I'm saying it's a slide in this case is because it has that sort of slash. Do you like the / on a keyboard, like www.schoolofguitar.com / I don't know, community. And do you see the way that like that / when you see that in a tab, you basically slide. So I have 2 and 3 on, and I slide up 2 frets, like that. So the second line, like that. All right, Dan, so that is the tip there with that. And yeah, that's the question, right? If you need anything else follow up, let me know, okay? Hey, Christian, what's up? How are you doing? Long time no see. How's life? Thomas has greeted you in Norwegian. That's class. I'm not going to insult the Norwegian language by trying to pronounce it. Okay, so the next thing. Next question came in from Brian, and the question was about the Nashville number system. Could I talk a bit about that? Okay, so the Nashville number system is, I'm not going to have all the nuts and bolts, ins and outs of the technicalities of it, but I'll give you my understanding of it. It's a system where chords are numbered, and by putting numbers on the chords, it gives you more flexibility to play songs in different keys. Okay, now let me unpack that. So, I went to the source of all wisdom, Google Images, for this. And if we take this here, okay? So Brian, let's just say you were playing a song and the song was in the key of, and I am not interested in any of these flat keys here. I'm just looking at the key of G. So just give me 1 second here. I'll see, can I get this better? Okay, there we go. Right, so you see here on the screen that there's the key of G. So Brian, if I said to you that we're doing a song and the song had the chords G, D, E minor, and C, like here, you see here where I'm hovering? You have G, D, E minor, and C. Well, that's useful for you. You can play the song in G, D, E minor, and C. But what if then this song we played, and I'll just say the song Brown Eyed Girl, it is G, D, E minor, and C. Or I'll say Wagon Wheel. And let's just say with Wagon Wheel, then a female vocalist came up to the group and we were both playing. And we'd played Wagon Wheel in the key of G the night before. Excuse me, I just need to cough a sec. And then this female vocalist comes up and says, I sing it in the key of A. And see here we have the key. So she sings it in this key, even though we played it 2 nights ago in this key. Right? Now, think about the moving around we'd have to do if you had to figure it out yourself, and me to go, listen Brian, now the chords, now instead of G do this chord, instead of this chord do this chord, instead of this chord do... It gets complicated really fast because that's only a 4-chord song. If it was like any other types of songs with multiple chords, now you're in the game of like switching all your chords around. And this system, I played some gigs with a musician I know, and she'd actually sang in Nashville, and she'd recorded some savage tunes in Nashville. And this was going back, I would say 10 years ago now. And when I met up to play with her, basically she handed me pages with numbers on them, not chords, numbers. And this very thing happened where in one of her songs, and it had tons of chords, it didn't just have 4 chords, it had a ton of chords. But these numbers, she told me that she sang it in the key of A usually. And what that meant that on this page now, when I was told the key of A, and I had this chart done out, like on the key of A, it was basically like, okay Dave, it's chords 1, 4, and 5. That's the intro. So I went, okay, cool. So 1 in the key of A is A, 4 is D, 5 is E. And then what happened after that was, as singers do, she had a bit of a cold. And so she wanted to sing the song a little bit lower. And so what happened was I had this page with numbers. 1, 4, and 5 is the intro. And then she said, we might change it to G. And I was like, no problem. Because I was like, cool. Now for 1, I'll do G. For 4, I'll do C. For 5, I'll do D. And so Brian, what this allows you to do is this allows you to be very flexible in your understanding of songs, and it allows you to change the chords of songs around without having to like be switching and swapping stuff. If you're thinking 1, 4, 5 in terms of the numbers of the chords, and we won't get into why they're called 1, 4, 5, but if you're thinking 1, 4, 5, no matter what key I turn around to you and say, then you could just look at this chart, and credit to Matto Bruno, who has this amazing resource. You could just then drop in, it's like paint by numbers, drop in your chords, Brian. And that's one of the benefits. A second benefit of it is that you begin to hear things in numbers. So what I mean by that is, just take a listen here. I'll play this off camera just so you can hear. So in the key of C, I'll play 1, 2, and 3 here. And you see chord 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor. So what's this? C. Right, could you feel the lift? I'll do it again. Dun, dun, dun. Now watch the key of G. Sorry, I'll do that again. Ah. Could you feel it lift and go back down? And the C one? You might even hear songs in it. Right? I think it's John Lennon. Woman, and hardly explain. I think that's in it. But see the way you could feel the movement of it, and it was 1, 2, 3, 2. No matter what chords I'd done there. So that's the Nashville system. How much do I use it? Not really at all. How useful is it for you as a guitarist? As useful as you'll put it to use. So that's one thing I'd say. Like, I wouldn't learn this entire chart. I would put it to use in a song in the key of G, in the song in the key of D, a song in the key of C. And I'd learn the numbers and I'd play around with that. Because on guitar, you'll generally put on a capo and play in the other ones. All right? But good question, Brian. Thank you very much. And if you need any further clarification, let us know. All right. So, what have we got? I'm going to scroll down to the chart. Hey, Noel, what is up? Welcome in. Hey, Dan, how are you doing? Welcome in. All right. So, that was the Nashville Lotto number system. We're done. I am going to pull up the other questions. Dan, I got on your question. It's towards the start, all right, if you need to recap. And then, just in case, last week we had 2 brave souls who got on the hot seat. And as an experiment, from now on, every week, I'll give a chance for somebody to hop on the hot seat. Now, in the community, you had to have written the word hot seat to do it. And nobody did. I'm unsure if anybody wants to go on the hot seat. If you don't, it's okay. But just to let you know, next week, if you want to get on the hot seat, put the word hot seat in the comments and I'll add you to spin the wheel. And in case anybody is watching going, what's this hot seat thing? It sounds hot. I don't like the sound of hot seats. Here is me and Thomas, and William was on the hot seat also. And see, Thomas survived the hot seat, right? Basically, long story short, if you want to check out previous Q&A, number 44, you'll see William and Thomas both on the hot seat. And it's basically, you come with a small playing problem, and I'll give you a hand through it, coach you through it, give you some things to try on the call. The only small thing is the stream is up online afterwards. That's the only thing I'll say, so it's public. But I'd say it's all good. All right? Yeah. Thomas can testify that the hot seat wasn't too hot. He survived. He's back for more. All right, so, and it doesn't flip like the Graham Norton one. I'll just say that. Now, just real quick before I get into the next question or two, just while there's more here, the community calendar. Hey, what's up? VZN Spike 101. What's your name? What do you go by in the real world? And if that is your name, that's cool too. So here's the deal. We got Monday. We're on the Q&A. Tomorrow evening, for those of you who can make it, there's a strumming and picking conversation happening on Zoom. Basically, like we did with finger picking, and I'll basically gather where you're struggling with strumming and picking, what you're interested in, then I'll go off and we'll create a journey from it, like we did with finger picking. And I'm going to leave another day or two for all the finger picking videos to come in, but I want to say seriously well done to the whole lot of you who've been going through it. I'm so impressed. Now, then next week, we've a Rocktober themed Q&A next week, right? This day next week, it's all rock. So if you've rock questions, rock queries, rock songs, anything to do with rock, okay? Next week is all rock, right? So just to give you a heads up if you want to be thinking. And last but not least, this day 2 weeks, where did the month go? We have our open mic again. And last time, I think there was 9 or 11 of you who got on, and it was class. It was so cool. So just give me 2 weeks notice. So just the last one was such fun. So if you have any questions on that, I'll open up a thread, but hopefully you're all on for it as well. Now, that is the calendar. I'm going to get back to the questions. Maria, that's cool, that's cool. Welcome in, Maria. How are you doing? Okay, that's okay. It's just good to know the names as well. Alrighty. So now the next thing, Maria, if you have a question at any stage, drop a comment. Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Now the next thing, I want to get in on these questions. Okay, so Troy, I'm gonna get onto Andy's here first, because Troy asked some very specific ones that I'm gonna dip into Ultimate Guitar on. Okay, the open mic, no, the open mic is for members of TSG Plus, Maria. All right, so if you want to hop in for that, it's in 2 weeks' time. If you want to chat about everything that's in the community, or the crew are on the call, if anyone let Maria know what it's like inside the community, work away. Or Maria, drop me a DM. I'm happy to share it. There's way more than the open mic inside it. Okay, so the next thing is, I want to get into questions here. Andy asked, he uses his index finger for strumming, and it gives a better rhythm to the strum. The sound is quieter, yeah, and using the pick, Andy finds the strum very loud, and especially the up strum when using the D chord, the bottom string sounds really loud. How do I hold the pick lightly and try? Now I do hold the pick lightly and try to, what is the answer? Okay, perfect. So it's okay to use your finger for strumming. A lot of popular artists have done it. Damien Rice, being a big example, uses his thumb a ton. So it's totally okay to do that. When you have the pick for strumming and the index finger, you have the best of both worlds. If somebody says to you you're too loud, or if you're trying to sing and play and you're having a hard time quietening your strum, you just use your index finger. I do it still. Like, I'd still use my index finger or my thumb to strum. So that's fine. And then with the D chord, what I'd say is I would still, Andy, give a go to the D chord if you're finding that one in particular is what's the word? Sounding really loud. And what I do, right, I want you to hold the pick so light, and I want you to barely bother in strumming up. Like, I mean, barely bother. And at the risk, I want you to go to the point where your pick falls on the ground. That's how light you're holding the pick. I want to get super light, like that. Okay? And even what you could do, Andy, is go with the up strum and just do this. Just really see, can you get it even quieter, right? And start Jingle Bell Rock, which will get you set for Christmas. Too early. So that's the D chord, yeah. So do up and just basically just tickle. You're basically just trying to like get a bit of dirt off the bottom string, like that lightness, right, with precision. Okay, but hey, you're in the community, so you're in TSG Plus, so look, post a video if you're wanting feedback, and I'm sure myself or some of the rest of the crew can throw an eye in it as well and share some tips, all right? So, questions from Troy. Okay, so I just want to check I have everything here now. Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna have water. Okay. And those of you coming to the retreat next week, sorry, I feel like there's a million public service announcements in tonight's stream, but those of you coming to the retreat in person in Ireland on Saturday, check your inboxes tomorrow. I'll be emailing around with the what dorms you're in, and also the other logistics with the event, all right? Okay, so, question from Troy, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So let's get it going. So First question came in from Troy. When you're studying a song, how do you break down the elements to use in your own songs or solos? Do you look at the sheet music or tabs? Are there particular things you look for? Right, so when I'm studying a song, how do I break down the elements to use in my own songs and solos? Okay, perfect. So, I have a few put up here, few longer ones to put up, but I'm going to start first by saying that if it's a 4-chord song, my mind isn't to do with the technicalities of it, it's to do with maintaining focus and not getting bored and thinking it's easy because it's just 4 chords. Zombie by the Cranberries, classic example. So with that then, what I do is, and I said I'd break this down today, and this is something I'm anticipating. If those of you watching, if you have questions on this as it goes, I'll check the chat in between questions, okay? So, here we go. So what I'll say is, with Zombie, you see it's the same 4 chords pretty much the whole way. So what I do here is, I would, and this can be any 4-chord song, it can be any song really, but I would basically get the first verse, because the first verse is probably the bit that you'd know the best of any song, because it's the first bit you'd hear on the radio or the song. And I don't know if you're like me, like I listen to starts of songs, and after about the second chorus, I hit the next button a lot of the time. Yeah, so then the chorus would be the second one. I'd start with the verse and the chorus. So verse 1 and chorus. Then I'd stitch them together and I'd start building momentum. And the reason you want this is because you want to begin building momentum as you learn stuff. You don't want to get to that bored zone where you go, look, I'll get back to that one. I'll get back, and you've 40 songs tabs open. So I've done that, and I still do it with other things so verse 1 and the chorus. That's what I do for a 4-chord song. Then I'd start really building momentum with it, and I'd start playing verse 2, and then I stitch that on. Verse 1, chorus, instrumental, verse 2. And then I'd be making sure that's all intact. And then on the side, if there's a bridge, not in this case, if there was a bridge, I might learn that on the side. So I'm learning the bridge as I'm getting better at going intro, verse, chorus, next verse, chorus, and I'm expanding that out. So it's 4 chords, so my work is in like focus, and it's in consistency, and it's in just keeping it together. And the way I say to students, I say that if you were playing it in a group or in a pub or a bar someplace, and somebody walked into the room and they didn't know the song, that you'd be as consistent playing E minor, C, G, and D in verse 2 or verse 3 as you are in verse 1. That the person couldn't tell that you were starting to kind of slip up and miss stuff because you'd just been playing it longer. Okay, so that'll be the tip with that one, Troy. That's for a 4-chord song, and I'll shut that one off. So now that's songs, and I'm gonna pick like a cray song here now. So give me a second. I'm gonna do one with a million chords. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Okay. I'm staying off the theme of politics, folks, but I do know that both candidates are in Pennsylvania, I think, today, but Philadelphia Freedom, right? So the setup with this is, look at all the chords. That's all I'll say. Elton John, Billy Joel, older music has a ton of chords. So the breakdown here, Troy, is particularly around songs with tons of chords. So we've done 4 chords. We said what to look out for. Now we are on try and find the loop here. It isn't here yet. So what would I do? I would still start with verse 1, and the sequence I often say is I go chord, then chord change. So check this out. So let's just say I'm scanning through verse 1 and I go, what is a C/D? Okay, so it's that, right, okay. Is it easy? Thankfully in this case it is, it's 1 finger. But I'll learn it. So I need to get the chord. And then the question comes, well, what am I changing to that chord from? Okay, I'm going from G to the new chord. So now, Troy, I'm like practicing the chord change. So I've learned the chord shape. Now I'm drilling the chord change. That's where I do one down on the G, one down on C/D. And this could be any song, any chord change, until I start to find that it's starting to get familiar. And then I keep scanning for new chords. B flat, A minor 7 could be there. And I start learning them. And then with this, right, Philadelphia Freedom versus, the camera will come back in a sec, folks. Philadelphia Freedom with, put that side by side with Zombie. Philadelphia Freedom is more of a long-term project. And what you want to do with that is you want to begin to look closely then at how long that might take you. Just give me one sec here. The camera should have come back by now. Sorry. We are frozen. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay. Sorry. Now, okay, let's get back into it. Right, so that's what I do. Tricky chord change, drill it, and then I start looking at the chord progression. I start going, okay, start on G, then it's A7, B flat, A minor 7, G. So I might take that chord progression out and just drill it. So like if I was learning it, and now I know the chords, so I'll just play them. So like, used to be a rolling stone, you know, if the cause was right, I'd leave to find my answer on the road. All right, now I drill those chords. And now I'm putting the chord progression into my hands. So in the space of a few minutes, and this could take days like of practice depending on what you found, but I've gone from opening up the song and going, geez, what is this? To now learning the chords, drilling the changes that matter. I didn't waste time starting on G and strumming G for ages if I was practicing it. I did there, sorry. But then basically I drilled the progression. So now I'm building momentum. And again, it's verse 1. And when you have your work put into verse 1, that should link down to verse 2. Like, let's see. Yeah, there it is there. That's verse 2. This song isn't labeled, but right? And then you have the chorus. And then watch all the chords. Like, I picked this one for a reason. Like, it's absolutely nuts. So then with that, then let's say I learn the verse, then I get to the chorus and I'm like, what the hell is this? That's where you have a choice. Then you can kind of, I call them song snippets. You can do a little snippet of a song and you have that and you've learned it and you keep it. And then just look at the elements of the next section and kind of go, okay, how could I learn more of that? Right? And that can really help you begin to jigsaw piece your songs together. And it's okay. I know there can be concern around like, but Dave, what, like I've been playing a year. What if somebody says to me, you've been playing guitar a year now, play me a song. Still learn a song, learn like 4-chord songs, 5-chord songs, easier songs. But these other songs, if you love them, it's okay to learn them as snippets and come back to them, okay? Right, so that is, I'm just gonna hop here. That is how I break them down, okay? And then tab, I'm gonna go by super quick here. And the particular things I look for, yeah, those are the particular things, Troy. It's chords, chord changes, chord progressions. The strumming then, I didn't talk about that. But the way I think about it is the chord stuff is 50%, the strum is 50%. Together we have the 100% of playing. I'm not doing a single bit of singing on top of any of that stuff until I can play it. Then the strumming, I would get the strum pattern on one of the chords then, but I only do this when I have this hand steady, the chord hand. Like if there's any rattles at all going on with any chord change, any chord shape, the strum is going to go absolutely out the window, or this hand will. So you want this rock solid. And that's why I'd even suggest at times practicing the strum pattern on chords that have nothing to do with the song. So if it was a down, down, up, down, up strum, and you were learning that for the first time, I would do it on some easy chord shapes, just so you're getting the practice in the strum as you're doing this more tricky song. All right. And then tabs. Okay, I opened out this one here. I'll just check if there are any questions. Actually, I'll just take a break here, just check the chat real quick. Sorry, got into a flow. Thomas, I love that you're asking Noel what's the dress code for the open mic. Sheriff hats, of course. Maria, you can sing or display. I've seen your video, so I would wholeheartedly, if you join us, I would wholeheartedly say, sing, please, okay? It'd be cool. Or sorry, hold on now. You did the strumming of Green Day. I remember now. Okay, so I'm mixing up videos. Do you sing? If you don't, it's still okay. Other players showed up last time and did a lovely John did a lovely rendition of the intro of Stairway to Heaven and some of the chord sections. So you're more than welcome. Okay. Okay. No Batman suit. Thanks, Thomas. Okay. Birthday suit. Okay, so yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. I'm just scanning through the chat here for questions. Thanks a million, everybody, for sharing your experience. Really appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Hey guys, I've watched your videos. I've watched past the first verse. I have. Okay. Time in a bottle. Yeah, 20 chords. That's an example. So like, that'll be one. Give me a sec. Okay. Okay. Cool. Oh yeah, that's okay if you don't sing, Marie. It's totally okay. You're not the only person that doesn't sing. It's absolutely fine. And here's a tip then. A song you'd pick, like Time of Your Life, Green Day, works. It's still recognizable. Some chord songs are still recognizable. So it's totally okay. And that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, I must drop me a DM. I'll send you something cool for singing and playing. That'll help as well. All right. Now, I'm going to go for it. Okay. Time in a bottle. Let's do it. Okay. How would I break down this song? So the strum pattern is there, and then D minor. So again, I'm hovering over the chords. I'm not on YouTube. I rather Ultimate Guitar. If you can learn to read Ultimate Guitar and use it, you don't have to sit through, and I have videos up, like you don't have to sit through people asking you to like and subscribe and stuff. You can just get down to it or even print it. So the chords I'm scanning through. Okay, cool. So D minor. Okay. Okay, so what I do with this one is I would break it down, chord, and you saw I hovered over to get some of the chords. The ones I knew I just tried to play through. I'm busking with the picking pattern, but you could do the same with the strumming song, okay? And then bar chords, that's why bar chords are handy. Then, yeah, these are doable. These are doable. If you pick, I'd start this with the chorus, and if you're looking to learn it, it's way easier, okay? And just get the chords and get like, do all the things. Yeah, okay. So I know looking at 20 chords is tempting to go, I'll get back to that one again. But if you took the chorus and you took like a line a night and just did a line a night and basically got them joined up and linked together, that could be good momentum and be a good song snippet. All right. And you know what I do? There's no problem with just doing a single strum and humming the words or something with it, because when you do that, you're still gaining momentum with it. Because if you're waiting to get the finger picking pattern, you're waiting to get the chords, you're waiting to get the singing with the finger picking pattern, with the chords, all that stuff is happening at the same time. And to try and get them all happening at once. And this touches on the singing and playing thing as well, Maria. I'm a big fan of getting the playing together first and drilling that, then getting the singing together and then matching them over each other. And it does wobble, like it isn't perfect, but it does help, okay? Now, I'm going to get in. A question had come in about a solo And I'm basically going to break down Hotel California, okay? So I've gone through the question, how do I break down songs, 4-chord songs, multiple chord songs, and now a solo, right? So Hotel California, I do remember learning this, and I remember thinking it was an absolute beast of a solo. It's like, I mean, the memorization, the getting it all together. But what I did was this. I began at the beginning of the solo with the... I started with that, the intro, and I started making my way through the solo from the beginning. But what I also did was, I went to the end, the bit that goes... going through that. I was also learning that bit because that was easier than some of the bits in the middle of the solo. So I was learning the beginning of the solo, the end of the solo, and it was like a little mold, or like one of those movies, I was in Narcos or one of those movies or something that like, you see two people digging tunnels and they end up meeting in the middle, and hopefully they meet like this. But basically, like in the end, I was building momentum and confidence because I was like, class, I'm getting through the solo, and I was at the end and going backwards from the end and learning it from, like, let's say a few bars ahead of that outro. And then I just knew that both parts were going to join together. And the story of this try is, even with that, there was certain highlighted sections, and I used to be like ruthlessly efficient with my time. I would play stuff that was easier, that felt good, in solos and guitar and chords and everything. But anything that I was like, this part of this solo is going to absolutely ruin it on me unless I master it, unless I can play this, I'm not, the solo won't happen, and it's going to trip up everything that follows it in that part of the solo. And I used to drill it relentlessly. I used to play some parts. I remember literally being in my bedroom playing the same set of notes again and again and again for 20 minutes in a row. And then I'd move to a different section, and I was doing this like just really trying to own those parts. And if you take that strategic approach of going from the start of the solo to being at the end of the solo, the fun part that everybody knows of Hotel California, we'll say, and then relentlessly drilling those parts. And now one disclaimer I'll say is, I was very certain of the fingers I was using to play the parts and of my picking technique. I used to do this relentless thing in the beginning, and then my teacher might say, no, actually, you need to pick it this way. You're going to hit a wall. You won't get any faster from there. More or less, he'd say this, you won't get any faster from there. So we got to rework the picking. And that's frustrating. And I know some of you have experienced that too with like strum patterns and stuff. But once I got the hang of it, then I started doubling down on stuff. So that's how I did it. And everything was written. Everything was written out in pages, on tabs on Ultimate Guitar. And I used to print stuff out as much as I could, because that way visually I could tick stuff off, I could highlight stuff, I could rewrite stuff and things like that, okay? Now, the other one, Stairway to Heaven, okay? If I was to break this one down, and I was picking two classics here, if I was to break this one down, again, I'd zoom out, take a 10,000 foot view and go, okay, what's in this song? We have the picked intro, the famous bit that everyone knows. Okay, and then it will get into the chords, get into that, and then with that part, that also strums. Then with and then with the solo. Right? Just high level overview. And you don't need to be a pro at this. You can make your own differences. Whatever stands out the most to you about the song, like a technical lead-based song like Stairway to Heaven, basically you can zoom out and go, well, how would I describe these sections? And you can divide the sections or categorize them by what you need to be able to do to play them on both hands. So as an example, the intro, it's picked, contains chords up high. Then when it comes to some of the strummy stuff, you're on open chords with different voicings and you're strumming. So to me, in my mind, they're two completely different sections. And then we have the breakdown, the da da dun dun dun. Like those rhythm stabs are so different to the other parts. So the whole time categorizing like that and then breaking them apart. And then when we zoom out even more and we go, well, how likely is it that I'm going to play all this song anytime soon? That's where you can get really decisive and go, well, if I get the intro for now, I'm going to be happy with that. And it's okay for me to just play the intro because I have these other songs I can play to completion. Okay, so there are a few things. Hotel California and Stairway. I'll do a quick eye in the chat, and then another question or two came in. And folks, do you have any questions? Nice. Andrew, you quoting Guns N' Roses? Not in Civil War, isn't it? Okay, so. Okay, that's cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, Brendan, God, I remember I was doing that Zoom call and you talking about singing and playing, like, it's class, all the videos you put up, man. So, let's see. Andy, you've sang and played. I've seen it, man. I've seen it. Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, right. So now, the next thing is a question came in, and the question was around... I'll just take a drink of water. Just give me one sec here. Okay. I'm just going to do this here. Okay, we are back. Right. So, what I want to do a sec is I want to answer this question here. Oh, and the question about do I look at sheet music or tabs? Tabs. I don't read sheet music. I'm not saying not to do it, but with tabs, I get the numbers and I can get the notation underneath the rhythm of how it goes. And any particular things I look for, just the Ultimate Guitar is a class play along tool. It's really good. I use Ultimate. Now, for memorization, how I found there's a limited number of songs a person can memorize, particularly with longer solos, and how often do you try to refresh on songs you feel that you've memorized? Okay, cool. So I'm going to break this question down. So, is there a limit on the songs you can memorize? No, there isn't. What's really cool after a while, what happens, which some of you've probably found, like for example right now, if you're watching this and you know the chords G, C, D, and E minor, and you know that if I said, hey, join me on this song, it has those 4 chords, that you could more than likely join in and play along. And that means you can play the song, which means you have the song. So in terms of thinking of songs as things to memorize, it becomes unlimited fairly fast, right? So no, there's no limit. But the memorization will come down to how well you've drilled the song and how good you are recollecting it in the event that you need to play it. And where that comes in is, and I'll tie this in with the Nashville number system, the chords and the keys. Like, if a song starts with G, you know in your minds watching this that there's a high percentage chance we're going to a C or a D next, or maybe an E minor. It's very rare we're going to like B diminished seventh or something. Like, there's all these permutations and combinations and everything of chords once you're on a single chord that the memorization kind of starts to go out the window. because you begin to get really good at starting a song and going, well, I'm in the key of G. That means G, C, D, A minor, B minor, E minor. Those are the main 6 chords in that key. And from my memory, and we make all these unconscious decisions, like from my memory, I definitely don't go to C after this G, I go to E minor because it gets lower and it's sadder. Like there's all these mini decisions we make. Like for example, if you were to ask anybody who knows more than 5 songs from memory, how do you know these songs memorized? They'll probably just say, I've done them over and over and over again. So yeah, longer solos. Memorizing longer solos, this ties in with the refreshing on them. I would have stuff I'm learning when I was learning first. I used to learn things, and then as soon as I could play it, then it became a case of maintaining it. And the way I'd maintain it is I would basically play the song. And I wouldn't play the whole song, I'd play the verse and the chorus of it. And the reason for that is that's all I'd need. And if anything popped up, if I was like, man, God, my chords are slipping there, I'd put it back in my practice list and I'd get back drilling bits of it. And then I'd leave it alone. And then let's just say you start to play it and you go, oh no, I'm on top of the song now. It's fine. It's cool. I don't need to practice anymore. I seem to be maintaining it and retaining it. What you do then is you leave a day of a gap and play the song again. Is it still intact? Brilliant. Leave 2 days of a gap. Is it still intact when you get back to it? You're remembering everything. It's sounding clear. The fingers are going where they're meant to go. It sounds good. Great. Leave 4 or 5 days now and just come back to it and see. That's one way to do it, you know. A band I'm in, we're doing a gig in 2 weeks' time. And like, here's an example. Like, there's some songs that we've done again and again and again that we don't need to rehearse, that are absolutely fine. And then Bohemian Rhapsody could take the work of an hour of the 2 hours of music. Like 1 hour could be dedicated to that one song because it's just so technical. So your choice of solos and what you pick to do really influences everything that follows as well. All right, and then is it possible, then the question came in, is it possible the goal is to be better at reading tabs? So once you've the main part of a song, you can come back to it and sight read the rest. That's very possible. That's where I would draw the comparison between tab reading and reading English. Think back to, or whatever your native language is, sorry. Think back to like reading, that in school or wherever, you'd be reading along, then you get to a word and you might know how to pronounce it. And the teacher would have to say, it's said this way. And you learn how to say it, you pronounce it, and now you have that word. And if that word pops up again, if you use it enough, you basically now have it, and no matter what sentences come up as you read English or whatever language, it's there. Now, tab reading. Let's just say it contains a passage of hammer-ons and pull-offs or bends or something technical. Well, once you've learned that, like Hotel California, all the stuff, if you learn that solo, all the stuff that's in that solo goes into your playing, goes into your head, goes into your hands, and then when you're reading through tab and time again, you might just be able to play some things automatically because you've put your work in with Hotel California. That's how it works. And the way to test this is just to read your way through tab and kind of go, what's that thing? And then pull that out. Okay, great question. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to memorize tons of solos completely? No, I don't think so. I was told by somebody once that they knew 5 solos properly, like note for note to completion. And my ears are, I was a kid at the time, when my ears are pricked up. I was like, what? They only know like 5, and they're a class player. They know 5 solos fully. And they told me, I'll try and remember them all. It was Sultans of Swing, Hotel California, Another Brick in the Wall, Bohemian Rhapsody, that's one. I forget the 5th one. But think about it, solos that if you Sweet Child of Mine is a big one. If you dared play anything else, like, people would go, what are you doing? So, you know, like there's some solos like that. And like, so I'll finish this point, then we'll hit the chat, see if there's anything else. Like, I used to learn solos note for note, and then I stopped because once I started getting gigs, the workload of memorizing complete solos was just way too much for maybe playing one gig every so often, or especially if it was a solo that I didn't like. And I was like, I don't want to learn this, and people don't care if I play this solo or not. Like, for example, there's a song from Dumb and Dumber, and it goes like this. It goes, sorry. Right? There's some nut solo in the middle of it. And I spent a night learning it for a gig, and I played in front of the crowd, messed up parts of the solo because I didn't know it well enough, and playing it in front of the crowd, and I looked around, I was like, nobody actually cared if I played that solo. And then the next time I did the gig, I improvised, and I was like, yeah, the band didn't say anything, the crowd didn't say anything, I didn't mind, you know. So you start to make these little decisions, and that's where improvisation comes in, and that's where you can do what I call a hybrid approach, where, for example, I don't know all the solo of Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd or Purple Rain by Prince, but I do know that there's an iconic beginning that people know, there's a iconic ending that the band will listen for, that the crowd know, but what happens in the middle is fair game. Improvise, right? So that's the kind of hybrid approach. Yeah, so I hope that helps. Sweet Home Alabama, that's another classic solo. And Freebird, yeah, you gotta play those ones. Okay, great questions. Very different questions this evening, it was really cool. Okay, I'm scrolling down. Okay. Okay, let's go. The Real Gamer, what is up? Can I join and us rock? No, sorry, it's just me on this stream. But if you want to join a community and rock in there, you're more than welcome, all right? There's a free community and a paid community, my friend. Hop into the free one, see what you think, and just look up, I'll drop it here. I forgot that thing is there. I don't actually, just so you know, I don't think it's possible for you to join the stream because it's, what's the word? You need a link. You need a private link. Okay, but hey, if you want to hop into the free community, there's a link there for you. Okay, now, right, let's check this out. So, how do I fingerpick? Hop into that link. There's a free fingerpicking resource in there for you. All right. But with fingerpicking, you want to get one chord, get a basic fingerpicking pattern. Everybody Hurts by REM is a brilliant one to start with. And then you just do it on the one chord. You check your technique. You check you're getting the technique right. You don't sing as you fingerpick yet. You get that one chord, then you do it on the next chord, do it on G. Then you do it on D, going to G. And when you can fingerpick consistently with proper technique, changing between two chords, you begin to kind of build momentum and confidence and start moving to the next one. And then it just builds from there. That, like, fingerpicking in a nutshell, okay? And by the way, on this YouTube channel, I have fingerpicking resources as well. So if you want to look up that, there's like 10, 15-minute tutorials on it, okay? Deli Dan, that's good. No one's gone to the bar. C9, yeah. C9, I'd start with C9. You will find a song though, just to let you know that you will be in no doubt that you will have to play a C, just to let you know. Yeah, Danny California Marie, that's a great one. Yeah. Oh, that's a lovely one. And by the way, like, here's an example, right? I haven't done that. I never learned the solo properly, and I haven't played in years, but the... right? And for those of you who don't like scales, the reason that's possible is because... Right, I know it's copied off the Tom Petty song too, but like, when you know the scales and you know the key of a song, if the solo is mentioned or the riff, and you've played enough, of course, it's like the language example from earlier, you've played enough of them that you can drop in and suddenly get into the zone and go, okay, I think they're up around here. And you've taken all the notes on the fretboard, 100 and whatever, 32, down to around 12, you know? So you've 12, you have a 1 in 12 chance then of hitting the correct note. But that's cool. But that's a great one, Maria, yeah. Jeez, forgot about that one. I was listening to some Chili's lately, actually. There's a great, by the way, I don't know, have you seen that? You know, Californication, the album, well, there was a big mess up with the mastering of it. Like, do you know the way it's harsh sounding? Like, we're used to it, like, but it's really harsh and tinny and crunchy sounding. Well, if you look up Californication album unmastered on YouTube and you listen to a song or two from it, and then you listen to the original one on Spotify or something, or YouTube, you're the difference is insane. Like the unmastered one just sounds way more natural. But I love Chili Peppers. So that's cool. You're into Chili Peppers and Green Day. Nice mix, Maria. Okay. Lads, I'm gonna have to have like a banter roll here next to the chat. I do search through for questions, but I get a laugh. Okay. Andy, you got a question. You could have your first customer here for your guitar course. So, reading tabs, I think I have that up on the channel as well if you want to check it out. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Brendan. Okay, here's how you read tab. Okay, 6 lines with the numbers. Each line is a string. Each number is a fret. Play the fret on the string shown. Tab does not have to be complicated. That is it. If there was a one-liner for tab, that is so well put, Brendan. Thanks. All right. Thomas, thanks, Cillian. Thanks for coming, and thanks for doing the hot seat last week. All right. We'll see you soon. Alrighty. A bar tab. Thank God we clarified that. That could have gone very different there. What's a tab? There's numbers on that thing too. So let's see. Okay, so we have 2 minutes left. Any last questions, folks? Noel, if you're still here, you usually have some cool last question, bordering on the philosophical side. I love it. So, is there going to be a fridge at the retreat? Yes, there is a fridge. I think it's a big fridge. It can hold cans. Okay. Yeah, no, I have all the questions gone through. Okay, cool. I just wanted to be sure I got everybody's. I'll just check DMs here just to be sure. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay. Alrighty, so we'll call it at that. Thanks, William, for making it, crew. There's 11 of you on. Marie, if you're still here, if you want to ask more about the community, just drop me a DM. Seriously, it's an amazing place. I know, like, we have fun, but we also learn a whole ton of stuff too. And it's not just a bunch of dudes. There's other ladies in there too. Trace is on the call tonight. Hey, I see Trace there. Okay, hey, what's up? There's Trace, Anne, and Andrea, and more in there as well. So yeah, so listen, hopefully you give it a go. It's like $29 and there's a whole load of stuff in there, but I want to give you the right stuff for what you need. So what happens is when you join, I'll basically chat with you and find out what you need, and the rest can attest to this. I basically chat with you one-to-one and I'm like, okay, what you need, and I'll direct you to the right stuff. Okay, and I'm always only a message away. You want to know more about the retreat? Are you in Ireland? Let me know if you're in Ireland. Yeah, just pop comment. I think the retreat is fully booked because of the sleeping arrangements. I can double check that, but let me know first if you're in Ireland. It is in Ireland, just to clarify that, and it's on next Saturday and Sunday. Okay, but looking forward to that too. The few of you there, some of you that aren't going, you'll be missed. But I'm already looking at doing something next April time, in terms of like a big annual get together, a big old hoolie. Okay, yeah, 100%. Like I feel totally okay saying that it's one of the best guitar groups out there because it's about the group. It's not about the School of Guitar and not about me. It's about the group. And just to let you know, I don't think I shared this news with you. Stay on a sec. Anybody who's still here who's in the community, stay on. I wonder, are we still here? So school, the platform we're on, I just wanted to see if this is still the case, right? Yeah, we're the #1 community, folks, on all of school. There's 53 guitar communities. Now, I know one of them is the free one, but there's 53 and we're #1. And I think it's a testament to the whole lot of you, how active and engaged and how you support each other and how you show up. And like, I'm not sharing specifics here, but if somebody's going through a tough time on guitar or anything else, like, they can share. It's a place where they can share and the community swoop in. And that's, I get goosebumps when I think of that, like, because a couple of months ago we all didn't know each other, you know. Yeah, so that's guitar, just to let you know that. And like, watch some of the other groups. There's like 1,000 people in some of the groups and stuff like that, but it's #1. And then the last thing I want to show, if it's still here, I just think it's so cool. Is it? Oh, no, we're at 11, but that's okay. These are in school. I think there's 360, 70 music communities. Jason Derulo, you know who he is. He's a singer anyways, but he's #1. And we're at 3, 6, 9. We're number 11 out of all the thing. So like, you know, like, just it says a whole bunch about like the whole lot of you, how you support each other and continue to show up. So amazing. Oh, you're from Kilkenny. That's class. Jesus, there's a few around you there. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's really cool. Like, I mean, insane. Like, the guitar community. And you know yourself, like, there's we've had 14 there at most at once, I think. So it will continue to grow though, but it's lovely that we've a tight-knit group. So Maria, a load of the rest of the crew are from Ireland as well, just to let you know. So like, they're like, so DM me inside school and I'll check in about the retreat, and if there is a space available, I'll let you know, okay? And then I can give you all the info. There's every last bit of info there, okay? And now, before we go, yeah, it's class, Brendan, isn't it? Yeah, Trace, yeah, 100%. No, yes. Okay. The Real Gamer, not sending you a code for your email. Could you? Okay. Check your spam as well, just in case, or it might arrive in a few minutes. But if not, oh yeah, hold on. I need to admit you into the group. Okay, so I'll go into it now after this, and I'll hit approve. Then you'll get in. Okay, I forgot that bit. Okay, because there's been like bots and spammers and stuff trying to join the free one. And Dan, yeah, 100%. And John, yes, 100%. And Trace, yes, really cool. It's so cool. And yeah, so it's and the Zoom calls are great fun. So those of you on the call, I hope you can make it tomorrow evening for the Zoom call, and we'll talk more about strumming and picking. And Maria, if you decide to join in the meantime, that Zoom call is there tomorrow evening. It's basically you show up and I go around the whole group and ask where you're struggling with strumming and picking, not finger picking, but picking. And basically the group will start to see the common threads, and I build, and I'll just show you what just give you an idea. And then gonna sign out. Okay, let's see. This was the finger picking journey. So we did this, and the crew have done an amazing job of going through it. Like, this all came as a result of us having a call and gathering about dynamics, about patterns, Travis picking, and different songs that use it. And we basically turned it into a 21-day course. And members are encouraged to upload videos, and everybody encourages each other on. So it's really cool. Okay, class, Brendan. I'll see you tomorrow night. Okay, I'm going to wrap it there. Thanks everybody for making it. The replay will be up here afterwards. And those of you who are inside School of Guitar, I'll see you on the call tomorrow evening. And those of you who are wondering about it, drop me a DM in school. I'll answer any question you might have. Happy to answer. All right. Class, know you're coming as well. Teddy. All right. All right, crew. We'll see you soon. Have a lovely evening. Thanks for making it. Bye.